As I lay in slumber, Lucas quietly stepped into my room that night, carrying a truth that would shake the foundation of everything I thought I knew. A true tale of betrayal. There exist instances in life that transform everything. Upon reflection, one comes to understand that it all began in the most unremarkable way, yet that simplicity is destined to transform. Thus commenced my tale. Lucas, my stepson, and I found ourselves sharing a typical evening in the living room. In the wake of James' passing, an oppressive silence enveloped the house. For 2 years, I had been striving to assemble the fragmented pieces of my existence, yet I remained oblivious to Lucas' transformation into adulthood, or perhaps I simply chose to overlook it. We found ourselves engrossed in a thrilling film, interspersed with moments of romance that added a touch of sweetness to the excitement. Lucas lounged beside me on the couch, his arms extended with an air of nonchalance, as if he were the master of the domain. It was the first time I beheld him in such a manner. His shoulders had taken on a broader stance, and his jawline was strikingly more defined. He had shed the remnants of boyhood, he stood firmly as a man, embodying every facet of maturity. Yet, I swiftly banished that notion from my mind. He is my stepson, I reminded myself. Yet that night, I remained oblivious to the fact that those reminders would ultimately prove inadequate. As the film progressed, the scenes grew increasingly intense. Lucas tilted his body just enough, his arm draping casually over the back of the couch, as he inched a little nearer to me. It seemed as though he was on the verge of speaking, yet silence prevailed. In that fleeting instant, our gazes intertwined. In his gaze, I perceived a profound depth, and at that moment, an unsettling feeling took root within me. A fragment of my being attempted to dismiss it, to render the moment ordinary. It's merely a film, merely a miscommunication, I reassured myself. Yet, my emotions were not deceiving me. In a moment steeped in romance, he leaned in slightly, like he wanted to say something, but hesitated. The silence between us felt heavy. Unbeknownst to him, he had edged nearer. His hand rested on the couch between us, creating a sudden tension I couldn't quite name, leaving me in a state of uncertainty about whether he would reach out and touch me. Within me, chaos reigned supreme. The proximity to him stirred a sense of unease within me, yet paradoxically, it ignited a thrill that coursed through my veins. The sensation gripped me with fear, yet the whirlwind of events unfolded so rapidly that I found myself unable to grasp my own thoughts. "Victoria," he murmured, his voice soft and tinged with uncertainty. "I have something to share with you." I faced him, my heart pounding in my chest. "Indeed, Lucas?" I inquired, though my voice trembled with uncertainty. I wish to express my gratitude for all that you have done," he remarked. "Since James's passing, your unwavering presence has been a constant source of support for me. Though it wasn't necessary, you chose to do it anyway. Your presence has ensured that I never felt solitude within these walls. It is due to your influence." His words struck me with a force that resonated deeply, yet the weight of the moment rendered me even more exposed. "Certainly, Lucas," I replied, mustering a smile. "It brings me joy to have you here." Yet, his gaze remained fixed upon me. "Me too," he said slowly, his voice resonating with a deeper timbre. "Your presence here brings me a sense of comfort." The atmosphere surrounding us thickened. In an instant, he seemed to sense it as well, retracting his hand slightly, yet his gaze remained steadfastly locked on mine. At that instant, uncertainty enveloped me, leaving me at a loss for action. My heart raced wildly, and my thoughts scattered in every direction. I endeavored to keep a barrier between us, yet a flame had already been kindled in my thoughts. He had outgrown the innocence of boyhood. That revelation struck me that night, and it was a revelation that would. That night, Lucas's demeanor towards me shifted. It was imbued with a warmth and depth of emotion that felt distinctly different. For years, I had played the role of a mother figure to him, yet the Lucas beside me that night was far removed from the little boy I once knew. At the age of 19, he stood tall, with broad shoulders and an undeniable handsomeness that captivated those around him. Yet he remained my stepson. Didn't he? I held on to that thought as I endeavored to quell the tumultuous emotions swirling within me, yet I had no way of anticipating that this was only the beginning. As Lucas's gaze met mine that night, the profound intensity in his eyes rendered me utterly vulnerable, stirring within me a curiosity about the source of his unexpected warmth and emotion. Unbeknownst to me, we were on the precipice of a momentous event that night, and the tale that began in those hours would irrevocably alter the trajectory of my existence. If you find pleasure in listening to confessions such as these, consider joining my channel, subscribing, and activating notifications to lend your support. Believe me, this tale will be among the most exhilarating you've ever encountered. Several days had slipped by since that fateful night. Lucas was behaving in a manner that was uncharacteristic of him. During breakfast, he spoke more freely, his gaze seldom straying from me. He began to assist with household tasks in a manner he had never attempted previously. "Victoria, allow me to assist you," he remarked one morning as he observed me sweeping the floor. He snatched the broom from my grasp and began to take matters into his own hands. My gaze fell upon him, a wave of disbelief washing over me. He had never acted in such a manner before. "I see you manage everything in this house on your own," he remarked, his gaze locked onto mine. "You are but one woman, assistance is required in this situation." Their words caught me off guard and stirred something deep within me. "Thank you, Lucas," I murmured, attempting to quell the subtle quiver in my voice. Yet within, a gentle warmth enveloped me. His candid recognition of my solitude resonated profoundly within me. As the day wore on and I busied myself in the kitchen, I sensed Lucas's gaze upon me. He leaned casually against the kitchen counter, watching me in a way that made me feel noticed, perhaps too much so. Yet, these were not the types of gazes I had grown accustomed to. I noticed his stare linger a little longer than usual, which made me feel both flattered and unsettled. Initially, I believed it was merely a figment of my imagination. I reassured myself, "No, Victoria, you're simply overreacting." Yet, the intensity of his gaze was palpable. I endeavored to maintain an air of normalcy, yet beneath the surface, I couldn't suppress the subtle exhilaration coursing through me. Honestly, I found it quite enjoyable. It had been an eternity since I had experienced the weight of someone's gaze upon me in such a manner. As Lucas exited the kitchen, an irresistible urge drew me to the mirror. I gazed into the mirror, observing my own reflection. Even in my 40s, I remained captivating. My waist was slender, my hips were generous, and my physique was sculpted, all thanks to my commitment to regular exercise. My light brown wavy hair cascaded gently over my shoulders, delicately framing my face with a tender touch. My bosom. It appears they have overlooked the passage of time in relation to my age. It had been ages since I had gazed at my reflection in the mirror like this. In that instant, a sensation awakened within me. A transformation was underway, and I could sense it deeply. Lucas's behavior grew increasingly apparent as the days unfolded. His gaze no longer strayed from me. At times, it was merely a fleeting brush. At times, it was merely a single word, yet I began to observe how he was testing the limits of our connection. Perhaps the most troubling aspect was that I discovered a strange pleasure in it. In the stillness of that night, as I lay in bed, a singular thought haunted me. Lucas was no longer a boy. He had transformed into a strikingly mature man, exuding a charm that was impossible to ignore. Yet, I could never have anticipated the thrill that realization would bring, and I sensed that soon enough, a moment would arrive when everything would spiral into an intricate web, impossible to unravel. As I returned home one evening, the scene that unfolded before me took my breath away. Candles flickering softly, flowers in vibrant bloom, a table elegantly arranged, all enveloped in a romantic ambience. Above all else, I found myself utterly enchanted by the birthday surprise that Lucas had orchestrated. Initially, I found it hard to accept that it was meant for my birthday. This degree of dedication felt akin to what one might offer for a beloved partner. As Lucas entered the living room to greet me, a sudden clarity washed over me, illuminating the reason behind my earlier thoughts. He donned a crisp white shirt paired with sleek black trousers. I had never encountered him in this manner before, so composed, so captivating. He was impossible to look away from. I wanted to make this day special for you, he said, a faint smile gracing his lips. He then presented me with a box. As I unwrapped it and beheld the dress nestled within, I turned to him, my expression a mixture of disbelief and astonishment. The dress was a breathtaking shade of bold red, featuring a luxuriously soft texture, a daringly deep open back, and an alluring high slit. As soon as it came into view, a rush of exhilaration and uncertainty surged within me. "Did you really purchase this for me?" I inquired, taken aback. "Certainly. Today marks the celebration of your birth, and I wished for you to don something truly exceptional. I'm sure it'll look amazing on you," he said, his voice steady, yet his gaze burned with intensity. With the dress in hand, I made my way to my room. As I stood before the mirror, the gentle caress of the soft red fabric against my skin awakened a sensation I hadn't encountered in ages. As I slipped into the dress, it struck me that I hadn't adorned myself in anything that so elegantly highlighted my figure in years. My elongated legs emerged gracefully from the slit, while the contour of my waist and the sleek line of my back harmoniously enhanced the dress's exquisite design. I gazed at my reflection, and after a brief moment of quiet contemplation, a smile crept across my face as I murmured to myself, "This is absurd. I'm preparing for Lucas, and I must say, this dress truly makes me look stunning." I examined my reflection with greater scrutiny, confronting the truths I had long overlooked. Indeed, I found myself in my late 40s, yet this dress transported me back to the exuberance of my 20s. My skin remained smooth, my light brown hair cascaded gently around my shoulders, elegantly framing my face, and within me stirred a thrill, a sensation I hadn't experienced in quite some time. With a deep breath, I stepped out of the room. As I descended into the living room, Lucas's gaze met mine, unwavering and intense. His gaze upon me rendered the world around us even more dreamlike. His gaze was unmistakably filled with admiration. With a smile, I remarked, "I owe this to you." The dress is nothing short of extraordinary, yet I averted my gaze in a moment of embarrassment. Under Lucas's intense gaze, I felt a wave of self-consciousness wash over me, and I knew I was right. Lucas remarked, his gaze unwavering, "You look absolutely stunning in that dress." Upon receiving such a forthright compliment, my heart began to race, yet I attempted to downplay it, responding with, "You're exaggerating." Lucas led me to the meticulously arranged table he had set up. 2 wine glasses stood poised, while a bottle of red wine rested gracefully in the center. For a fleeting instant, I sensed that I had been transported to a wholly different narrative. This occasion lacked the essence of a birthday celebration. Instead, it resembled an intimate dinner for two. Yet, I remained silent, captivated by the enveloping atmosphere. Lucas uncorked the wine and filled our glasses with its rich, flowing essence. Gentle melodies floated through the air, while the wine bestowed a comforting sweetness upon our tongues. Initially, our dialogue revolved around the past, touching upon Marquez and the transformations that have shaped our lives. As the evening unfolded, I observed Lucas gradually guiding the conversation toward a realm far more intimate. "Victoria," he said abruptly, his voice gentle yet imbued with gravity, "how is it possible for a woman like you to be alone?" I simply cannot comprehend it. Our gazes met, leaving me utterly speechless. "Lucas, solitude isn't always a matter of preference. Life possesses an uncanny ability to isolate you," I remarked, yet within his gaze lingered a profound depth. "You needn't remain by yourself," he remarked, raising his glass to his lips. "A woman such as yourself has desires, Victoria, and I am here for you." The words lodged themselves in my throat. His words resonated within me in ways I had not anticipated. I lifted my glass to my lips and savored another sip, yet my gaze remained fixed on Lucas. This birthday had ceased to be merely a celebration, it was evolving into something entirely distinct. As Lucas placed his wine glass on the table, his gaze remained fixed on me, unwavering and intense. "Victoria, you appear truly magnificent. I wanted this night to be special for you, because you deserve it," he said, his voice low yet resolute. A timid smile graced my lips as I idly twirled my glass in hand. That's truly kind of you to express, Lucas, yet I occasionally ponder the reasons behind your considerable effort, I remarked. Lucas arched an eyebrow ever so slightly and responded, because you deserve it. You're not merely a stepmom, Victoria, you embody so much more than that. His tone resonated with a profoundness that both astonished and profoundly touched me. In that fleeting instant, our gazes remained locked, unyielding to the world around us. The stillness that enveloped us only heightened the strain in the air. My heart raced, yet I found myself unable to utter a single word that might shatter the stillness of the moment. Lucas gradually rose from his chair, meandered around the table, and approached me with a deliberate pace. With his hand resting on the edge of the table, he leaned in closer to me. Victoria, you deserve someone who appreciates you for everything you've done and all that you are. He remarked that no one should ever underestimate a woman like you. Lucas, I started, yet words eluded me. The words lodged themselves in my throat. Just as I was on the verge of uttering my thoughts, Lucas drew nearer, his face hovering close to mine. I can't conceal my feelings any longer, he murmured, and then his lips brushed against mine. The kiss utterly disoriented me, a surge of passion enveloped me, a warmth radiating through my being, a connection that had long eluded me for years, and glided gently to my waist, drawing me nearer to him. A moment of shock swiftly transformed into an impulse I found irresistible to act upon. Our lips remained entwined for what seemed like an endless moment, as if time itself had paused. Yet, in an instant, the weight of reality descended upon me. I gradually distanced myself from Lucas, utterly breathless. Tex, this isn't right, I said, my voice quivering with uncertainty. Lucas, I must retreat to my room, was all I could muster to express. Lucas met my gaze and inhaled deeply. Apologies, Victoria, but I found it impossible to suppress this feeling, he stated, his tone steady yet imbued with an inner intensity. Silently, I rose and rushed to my room. Upon entering, I closed the door firmly behind me and leaned against it, inhaling deeply. My heart raced as I struggled to assemble the fragments of what had just transpired. I settled onto the edge of my bed, my gaze drifting toward the mirror. Even my reflection appeared powerless to rid itself of the burden of that moment. What led to this unfolding? I murmured softly to myself. The tempest swirling within my thoughts, intertwined with the lingering effects of the wine, gently ushered me toward the embrace of my bed. Once my head met the pillow, the flood of emotions and the heaviness of the evening enveloped me and I surrendered to slumber. Yet the night had more to reveal. After a while, a subtle sound reached my ears. As my eyelids parted, a silhouette loomed at the threshold. The door creaked open, revealing Lucas's silhouette in the soft, muted glow of the room. Victoria, he murmured gently. His voice carried a hushed quality, yet it resonated with an unmistakable resolve. My heart raced once more as he entered the room. Despite the weight of his own conscience, he stepped inside, the door clicking shut with a finality that echoed his resolve. In that instant, the gaze in Lucas's eyes revealed to me that this night was far from finished. The intensity in his eyes and the cadence of his voice enveloped me entirely. My heart raced with such intensity that it seemed on the verge of breaking free from my chest. I realized that words were necessary between us. As my gaze met his, a torrent of long-buried feelings surged forth, breaking free from their confines. I understand that I must provide you with a response, Lucas, I admitted, my voice quivering yet infused with unfiltered truth. I understand your feelings, but this situation is confusing, and I need time to process what's happening between us. The unwavering resolve in Lucas's gaze held me spellbound. The feelings I had long concealed could no longer remain in the shadows. My heart pounded fiercely within me, and I realized I had to reply. Drawing in a deep breath, I composed myself, studying the tremor in my voice. I understand that I must provide you with a response, Lucas, I declared, fixing my gaze upon his. Your sentiments resonate with me, and my desire for you is undeniable. As those words escaped my lips, the blend of astonishment and joy on Lucas's face ignited a wave of courage within me. A gentle smile graced my lips as I momentarily closed my eyes, seeking to collect my thoughts. Please, before I lose my nerve, I said, my hands gliding to my shoulders as remove entirely or change scene to introspection. I stared at myself in the mirror, wondering when I had last felt seen or admired. The fabric slipped from my form, cascading to the ground, while I remained poised, Lucas's breath hitching, the admiration and longing in his gaze unmistakable. His gaze ignited the thrill surging within me. Without a moment's pause, Lucas drew nearer, and our lips connected once more. Before I could respond, he moved closer, but I instinctively stepped back, overwhelmed by the intensity of the moment. His hands wrapped around my waist, drawing me closer as the kiss intensified. At last, he softly led me to the bed. As we approached the precipice, Lucas's hands gently guided me down onto the mattress, my gaze unwaveringly fixed on his. His presence enveloped me, compelling my total submission. Lucas crouched low, swiftly removed his shirt, and flung it away. He knelt on the bed, leaning over me with an intensity that filled the air between us. The fervor and intensity of longing reflected in his gaze ignited an even greater blaze within me. His fingers gently traced my cheek, rediscovering my lips once more. In that instant, the walls that had separated us throughout the years dissolved entirely. A sensation washed over me, one I hadn't experienced in more than 2 years. I had completely let go. As Lucas pressed on, I clutched the sheets fervently, my hands tightening around the fabric as I shut my eyes. I surrendered to the thrill and anticipation surging within me. As I opened my eyes and gazed at Lucas, his flushed face and broad shoulders captivated me, making it impossible to resist. I extended my hands to his back, and in a brief surge of exhilaration, suggest subtle tension instead, the air around us crackled with emotions neither of us could name. Lucas's heartbeat quickened, a clear sign that he must have enjoyed it even more. As my hand rested upon his chest, I could sense the rapid thrum of his heart, and in that instant, the room grew quiet again, as if we both understood this was a boundary we could not cross. Omit or rewrite as metaphor, the emotional boundary between us blurred, leaving me uncertain of what was real and what was imagined. On that day, amidst a conversation filled with romantic musings, I succumbed to slumber. From that moment onward, my life was destined to embark on an entirely new path. In that fleeting night, I found myself enveloped in a joy unlike any I had ever known, and it dawned on me that this was merely the prologue to something extraordinary. Pay close attention to the unfolding events, for this tale is far from over. Simply remain attentive. If you've journeyed to this point, it's clear that my narrative has resonated with you on a profound level. There is an abundance of insights waiting to be unveiled, and you certainly won't want to overlook a single moment of it. Be sure to tap that follow button, enable notifications, and share your thoughts on this tale in the comments.